I'm Lindsey Calla, codename Saucy Glossy.
I'm Karen Blanchard, codename Karen Britchick.
This is Fashion Mission.
God, you're lucky. You got Central Park.
I
right
know.
on your doorstep.
I have to be surrounded by green. Then I try to come on in times when there's not a lot of tourists, and I have like the whole staircase to myself, and I just take amazing pictures.
Oh, that's so comfortable.
It's like really vintagey inside. Like it has these old tiles. I'm like,
oh, don't talk to me about vintage.
I know. I brought up that word. You do vintage so well, and I've had a few finds over the years, but I know it's like your like.
Yeah, I love vintage. Tell me what you found.
Well, I was in Sydney and I found a Chanel blazer. And at the time with the exchange rate, I got like the best deal on it ever. For like a Chanel blazer, $300. But it was definitely like a couple $1,000. It was a steal, I thought. It was still like budget breaking for me, but I felt like it was an investment piece.
That is.
Yeah.
God, that's brilliant.
No.
One thing comes to mind is this cape I found. It's sleeveless, you just put it on and it has like these defined shoulders, black velvet, and it has gold beading on each shoulder only in the shape of wings. The vintage shop was called Shireen Vintage.
Oh, you talk about this all the time.
Shireen is fantastic. Yeah, I just saw your eyelid starts twitching. You're like, I think there's something good in there. I think I just levitated and just went straight to it. I went,
So I know like when I go into a vintage store, I'm a little overwhelmed. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I don't know about these fabrics. Everything feels really different. It's a different shopping experience. So I know a lot of other girls have that issue.
Yeah. One thing is think about accessories. Earrings, jewelry, necklaces.
Hats. I love hats.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because vintage jewelry really never goes out of style. I mean, it really is something that you can take from season to season, from decade to decade, and it tends to really just jazz up anything you have.
You do. A lot of girls are scared of vintage because they feel like, oh, it's been worn before and hygiene. You know, just have it dry cleaned, you know.
Yeah.
It's worth that spend because you've got something that's unique.
I know, and I feel like you really have to like spend extra time looking at the quality, and don't forget that you can, save a little bit on tailoring.
Another thing is the quality of the materials back then. They were so much better. The leather was better. It was thicker, it was softer. I really like to check out the men's section in vintage.
Yeah.
Because I find I have like a Johnny Cash t-shirt that I got, that's men's. And it's way too big. It's kind of very square cut, and I just cut off the sleeves and I wear it like DIY style, like a sleeveless vest.
Yeah,
And you wash it a few times, it starts to soften up.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm looking at the trend right now with spring summer with Louis Vuitton, and you're seeing all that pastels and sugary sweet.
Yeah.
To me, that's like an immediate throwback from the 1950s, and you can get that feel in vintage. So I have my little favorites. There's one in the East Village on 7th Street I love going to.
I really like Resurrection.
There's some in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn's a great
A lot of
resource.
people know about Beacon's Closet, which is massive, it's huge. And off Bedford Avenue, there are little vintage boutiques. One of my favorite places to go for vintage is Brooklyn Flea. Have you been there?
Yeah, we have been there before.
Good.
And I liked it because, one, there's really good food, which is always key for me. I'm like, I need to like get some ice cream as I vintage shop. And then there was like, they're old and new.
Great.
Yeah, there was a photographer there that had the most amazing art that I loved. And then you can dive into the clothing, so it's a big kind of a mixed bag. Yeah.
Start small. Just look at all the dresses section. Go for maybe a solid color and avoid print if you're not sure if it's going to be right for you. Never look at the sizes because it's vintage.
I mean, that's like the one biggest mistake I think girls make is they're like, this isn't my size. It's vanity sizing too that we're so used to.
Exactly. And also, if you, like me, you're a fan of wearing like sparkles and glitter during the day, vintage is like the best place to find sequins at a fraction of the price.
I love the sequins during the daytime.
Yeah.
So, like there was a great quote. Like, I think it was like June Ambrose, and she said, "Bring disco to the daytime," and I was like,
that sounds a bit like that.
Fit who you are.
Yeah, if you're like more of a rocker chick, then check out all the rock tees that they have there.
Yeah.
Have a look at their belts, check out all the brimmed hats. Don't be afraid to look in the men's section. and you've got that look for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, it's being open-minded, and it's also taking it and updating it yourself. So even though the item itself might feel like it's from a different time, the way you style it is going to be so of now. That's what it is today. That's what making it modern is all about. It's taking that contrast, mixing it together, infusing your personal style, and then blogging
That's
about
it. Just make it.
So you'll have to take me shopping.
God,
shopping.
yeah. Like I said, I need to go back to the Brooklyn Flea because I was just there last week, and so obviously I need to go back.
Yeah, of course, because you never know. It's like the one weekend you don't go, and everything is new.
But that's what I love about shopping.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we'll have to go.